Tov, a good Erev Shavuos. Everybody get ready. I know you have no problems like Shabbos, which is Erev Shavuos. People have a problem whether they could sleep. Hachanas. Today, I should give you a total heter Erev Shavuos. You could have a good long sleep, how would that affect brachas later on? If you had to sleep in the afternoon.
Then you could say
Right?
you can say Birchas Torah in the morning.
Right.
It doesn't help though for like kind of shama.
Okay.
Birchas Torah.
Right. Okay. You should check in the chat. I posted Baruch Hillel's Torah. You could look it up, review, and today, as being Erev Shavuos, I think I'm going to mention some things I'm going to ask Eliyahu to post some of his Divrei Torah on Shavuos, Pnei Eliyahu. I'm going to read from some of it. It says, Seder Limud Alayla, B'leil Chai Shavuos, Nishorim Erim Kol Alayla. As Tzvi just told me in the name of Rav Asher Weiss, of course, it's one of the minhagim to stay up all night. We call it a tikkun. V'oskim b'torah v'hatam b'pirkei de Rebbe Lezer. Lefi shekasher kiblu Am Yisrael et haTorah hayu shenim kol halayla ad shehutrach HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'er osa mishnasam kach keneged zeh.
That was a deep sleep.
That's just we just experienced that. Am Yisrael na'orim b'halayla zeh v'oskim b'torah ketei shetakin et amuvas. Anyway, so it's a good idea to take no dose. No, I've actually had 3 regions in one day. I had, and I needed to stay up, so I took a whole bunch of what's called no dose. I think they call them.
Why would you need that? You don't sleep anyway.
I don't know. I'm talking about the good old days when I was a teenager, and I had to study. Like there's a machlokes. Do you get a good night's sleep before you take a test, or do you stay up all night
Is that
and
a
cram?
machlokes l'shem shamayim or not l'shem shamayim?
Well, for that, let's put it this way.
Sofa l'skayim or no sofa?
I was a crammer, and I stayed up all night.
Vilna Gaon was a crammer too.
Kramer, that's right. Vilna Gaon was a Kramer. Anyway, so I took no dose, and after I had my 3 exams, and I went home, and I hadn't slept, and I said, now I'm going to sleep. The problem is when you take the stuff, you can't fall asleep. So that's the worst torture in the world, when you're tired and you can't go to sleep. But halavai tonight, I hope, even much as I want to go to sleep, I want to stay awake. Anyway, b'chag HaShavuos anu minadidim sheina, we're sleep deprived. Meinenu hayom katzer v'amlacha meruba. B'leil Shavuos aleinu lahaspik tfilas arvis, sudas hachag, limud arba ve'esrim svarim b'kfisas haderech, Taryag HaMitzvos, B'kitzer, V'nimratz, Medrash Ein Yaakov, Idra Rabba, Tfilas B'nei Tzachama, Kiddush Baboker, Suda Kala Shel Mizonos Macholi Cholov, Menucha Lekama Sha'os, U'Seuda Chagi Goris, V'shuv, Limud Rotzuf Ad Sof Hayom, Megillas Rus, Tehillim, V'ribui HaTorah B'yom Zeh, Kama She'efsha, L'lamdacha, Shekeneged Amal Torah Lo Yergish Adam Lo Ra'ov, Lo Sameh, and the interesting thing in Chutz La'aretz, I don't know. First of all, we're going to go ahead of Chutz La'aretz. We're going to read Parshas Naso, and it will be Yom Tov Sheni for them, and they're going to fall behind. Don't know when we catch up again? When does Chutz La'aretz catch up with us?
When you put the ketchup on it.
When you put the ketchup on it. Anyway, so what we used to do, and when we daven Yeshiva for our Rockaway, and we're making a tikkun for my grandmother's yahrzeit is the second day of Shavuos, which is Zion Sivan, Brina Bas Yehuda Leib, my paternal grandmother, my father's mother, and
what do you usually do when I have to go up to Har Zayis? I go up on this year. I'm going up Sunday morning.
Har Zayis?
Remember my wife's grandparents.
Okay, so the answer is I never really went up Har Zayis. I never really.
So what do you do each year when I go? You go with Meir?
Yeah. I do not go to Har Zayis. Although when the Orach Chodesh, the Orach Chaim, sorry,
you don't go at all to Har Zayis, not even the paths.
So the answer is, that's the place I'd love to be later on. And my Rebbetzin goes up there because she has a lot of mishpacha, But
I mean, also coin.
and of course I'm talking about Kona. So I've never really gone all the way up, but I've stayed along the side even before the Har, like Orach Chaim. There's a path before the on the Kvish.
Yeah,
That's the closest I've ever come. But anyway, so
Sunday I'm going up.
you're going up there because
I just told you my wife's grandparents.
your wife's grandparents. Okay.
Zion and Ches and Tess.
Oh, so we share the same, and Ben Sion Altman, we share the tikkun he also has for his relatives the same time, and we used to make the tikkun the second night. Why? Because in Yeshiva Far Rockaway they have a minhag. Not only do they learn the first night, they do an all-nighter on the second night, which I think is, that's really Yom Tov Sheni Shel Golius. So I also want to mention the fact, shout out again to Brooke, who we just met at the Kaisel with her wonderful mishpacha, and they should have, Mirza Shem should have a lot of osher and osher. Okay?
So would you like to hear the drasha?
Yes.
That the Saba Mikelim gave Leil Shvus?
Yes.
Because I heard it from Reb Shalom Sodron.
Okay.
Should I get it to בעברית?
בעברית, כן, אבל כששמעת את זה מרב שלום, זה היה בעברית או ביידיש?
בעברית.
בעברית, אוקיי, בסדר.
זה היה ביידיש, לא הייתי יכול לחזור על זה.
אוקיי.
אני שמעתי את זה בעברית, והייתי הולך לבית שלו, הרבה שנים הלכתי במצוי שבס, הוא נתן שיחה לבחורים מחברון, והצטרפתי לזה. אז הוא אמר שסבא מקלם, שהוא נתן שמוז בליל שבועות, והשמוז לקח לו 5 דקות. וזה מה שהוא אמר. הוא אמר שהקדוש ברוך הוא ידוע, חז"ל מספרים לנו שהקדוש ברוך הוא ברא הרבה עולמות. ברא עולמות והחריב עולמות. 6 פעמים. החריב, ברא והחריב, ברא והחריב. ובסוף שהעולם שהקדוש ברוך הוא ברא זה עומד להתקיים 6,000 שנה, לפי הידיעה המקובלת. 6,000 שנה. אז הוא אמר שאם הקדוש ברוך הוא ברא את כל העולמות והחריב אותם ובונה אותם והחריב אותם עד שהגיע לעולם הזה, והעולם הזה היה נשאר 6,000 שנה, כדי שבסוף 6,000 שנה אדם אחד יבוא לפני הקדוש ברוך הוא ויאמר פעם אחד ברוך הוא ומבורך שמוי, אז כל העולמות, כל 6,000 שנה, וכל העולמות, וכל מה שהחריב וברא והחריב וברא, הכל היה כדאי, רק שאחרי כל 6,000 שנה יבוא פעם אחת אדם ויגיד ברוך הוא וברוך שמו. אז הוא המשיך. 1,000 פעמים ברוך הוא ומבורך שמו לא מגיע לו אומן אחד. זה ככה, כמה זה גדול.
אמן.
אמן. 1,000 פעמים הכל כדאי בשביל ברוך הוא וברוך שמוי, ו1,000 פעמים ברוך הוא וברוך שמו לא מגיע לאמן אחד. ו1,000 פעמים אמן לא מגיע למילה אחת בתורה. זה השמוז שהוא אמר. זאת אומרת, רוצים קודם כל תורה, לקבל תורה, צריך להבין את החשיבות של תורה. החשיבות של תורה היא כל כך גדולה, שאפילו מילה אחת בתורה הוא שווה.
מה אהבתי תורתך.
ככה היה השמוז.
What amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. כל היום שיחוסי. אהבתי תורתך. כל היום שיחוסי. Parak Yutes. I picked this one because it has about Torah. Your favorite.
השמיים מספרים כבוד אל ומעשה ידיו מגיד הרקיע יום ליום יביע אומר לילה ללילה יחווה דעת, אין אומר ואין דברים בלי נשמע קולם, בכל הארץ יצא קוום, ובקצה תבל מלהם שמש שם אוהל בהם, והוא כחתן יוצא מחופתו, יסיס כריבו לרוץ אורח, מקצה השמיים מוצאו, ותקופתו על קצותם, ואין נסתר מחמדו. תורת אדוני תמימה משיבת נפש, עדות אדוני נאמנה מחכימת ביתי, פקודי אדוני ישרים משמחי לב, מצוות אדוני ברא מאירת עיניים, יראת אדוני טהורה עומדת לעד, משפטי אדוני אמת צדקו יחדיו, הנחמדים מזהב ומפז רב, ומתוקים מדבש ונופת צופים, גם עבדך נזהר בהם, בשומרם עקב רב, שריות מיבין מנסתרות נקני, גם מזדים חסוך עבדך, אל ימשלו ביעזתם, ונקטי מפשע רב, יהיו לרצון אמרפי, והגון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Acheinu,
Kol Beis Yisrael.
Acheinu,
Kol Beis Yisrael.
Hanasun Betzara, Atzara Uvashivya, Omdem Ben Bayam, Uvein Bayabasha. Hamakom Yerachem, Yerachem Aleim, Yosiem Mitzara, Lerevacha, Mefel Eliora, Umishibud Legeula Hasa, Bagala Uvismakari. Nomar Amen. Jetzt gucken into the Winkel, the Yiddish corner.
The Yiddish Winkel. Ich hab gefragt, Klonim, was ist der neue Wort von Vereint? Also, hat geschrieben ein Wort, was kennen wir.
Okay.
Schmusen.
Schmusen.
Schmusen. To converse, to schmooze.
That's it? That's his word?
That's his word for today.
Oh, come on.
Wir haben lang geschmuset.
I'd come up with the word schluffendick. Schluffendick, which is, being sleepy. Okay, yeah?
Let's ask him, how about a word for
Shavuos,
the holiday? Shavuot. See what he says.
Okay.
Don't tell me Chag. Yeah, he started giving me
the word holiday.
But he does say the word. Interesting. In Yiddish, he says Yeridas HaTorah. In Yiddish, giving you the Torah. It's funny. We don't say Yeridas HaTorah.
Right.
Descending on the Torah. I think that's a faux pas.
It's condescending.
That's his goyish cup.
We didn't mean to insult you, Kalanimus.
Careful, she'll get offended too. But he says the Torah Aufgang.
Upgang is coming down. Upgang. In other words, going down? Is that what he wants?
Afgang, I guess so.
Listen, the only time I heard "come on down" is if they advertise to come down to Florida. Come on down.
Come on down.
But anyway, so I want to say that everyone should have an uplifting, and you should have a refreshing, a restorative, a neshamadik. Should have a shavuos. We should have a couple. And I heard something, the difference between tkufas, like you say that it's man matan torosenu, as opposed to Chaga Osif, Chaga, so what's the difference between why is there not like Pesach and Sukkot, Chaga Osif, why, basically what's the Zman? The answer is because there is no permanent Zman for Shavuos.
Right.
The Kabbalah Torah is every day.
Right.
And that's basically it. That's the Zman.
So there's also the only birthday in the world that doesn't have a real birthday.
Doesn't have a date.
Right. Is
Shavuos.
Whose birthday?
It's David HaMelech.
David HaMelech. He's born on Shavuos.
Right.
So he doesn't have a real birth date.
That's right. We just say.
So Moshe always says that on Shavuos we receive two things. We receive Torah and we receive David HaMelech. Because David HaMelech is Vani Tefillah. So we have Torah and we have Tefillah, both on Shavuos.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And he says that one without the other, a person can never be Masig Torah without Tefillah. Because if you don't daven for Torah, you'll never be able to absorb Torah the way it needs to be absorbed.
Wow, beautiful.
Bakosha.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Ramosha, and do you recall when you heard this, or in the car, or was this
no, it's his sichot,
yeah, okay. Anyway, so ich wünsche euch, ihr soll haben an insomnia. You should really not be able to go to sleep. That's my bracha to you. Do you stay up all night?
Yeah.
Okay, bracha Hashem.
We learn.
Yeah.
I learn. We
learn. Yeah. I have to tell you.
12 to 4.
G4. There's a chevra, and we have shiurim, and there's when you're in the presence of chevra that are really into Torah, it keeps you awake. It really does.
Sure.
I've been the other stuff. I know people. I won't mention the community that I was at. The people go from one shul to the other, and they taste. One place they had fleischigs. One place they have. Imagine they have a shul that has steak, and then this is what they would do. They would go to places.
I think Ani HaKatan, Omer, that I think for those people it's better if they would go to sleep.
So do I. So do I. Although, Marba Besuda, I don't know about that. Chatzi Hashem, Lachatzi Lachem. The more you eat, the more you have to give to Torah.
First you have to do the Chatzi
Lachem. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yishkayach.
Chag Sameach and a good Shabbos. And we'll see you, Yetz Hashem, Yom Rishon.
Yom Rishon. Here we go. You witnessed that. That was a Tchiyas Kaf. Okay. There's a strong wind, so bear with me. We want to do the Parsha Shavua because that goes right into Shabbos. Don't forget to make an Erev Tavshilin, and you post it for Naso, Yivarecha Hashem Yishmerecha. We're talking Birchas Kohanim, Varashi, Divrei Rizal, Yivarecha, Yisbarchu, Nechasecha, Yishmerecha. Shelo Yavo Alecha Shodadim Litom Limonecha. Im Ha'av Natein Levno Matana, Ba'ayin Yofeh Natein, B'lev Tov, U'mia'etz Levno Ech Lisfaneg Im Hamomon Shelo Yelech Le'ibud, Ela Adarabba, Yisrabba Yosef. So it's like a father who gives a present to his son. He wants to make sure that not only does he prosper, but he protects them from problems. Ulam, Osher Shabbat Mitzad Echad, the Eineno, Birchas Hashem, the Hainu Gezel, the Chamas, O Ayadei Chilul Shabbos, the Kedome, Ayadei Shar Averis, Osen Lemos, Lobo Mitzad, Otzra Tov Shel Kadosh Baruch Hu. There are some people, unfortunately, who think they can give charity from stolen goods. Not such a good thing. Ela Sha'adam, Hataf, Oto me'asmo, the ein ayin HaKadosh Baruch Hu aleim b'tova klal. They don't have the bracha of Shmirah. V'hem kelem nevadim mahir me'adam. They eventually get lost from that person. Osha adam kalam nevadim, or if either the possessions are taken away from him, or he is taken away from the possessions. In other words, he lives a short life. Kamosha Kasav and Yirmiyah, Pasuk Perak Yizayim, Pasuk Yid Aleph. Oseh Osher V'lo Mishpat B'chatzi Yom of Yazvenu. By the way, Asiyas Osher V'lo Mishpat is a branch of law called unjust enrichment. Anyway, Upir Shalom Aforshim. Osher Kala B'chatzi Yom of Shel Adam, whether the wealth is taken away after the days of his life, Adam Kala B'chatzi Yom of, or the person is taken away himself. Mina Osher V'azovoto. And with stolen goods, a person, the money is taken away by sickness, so doesn't pay to steal. The momentary happiness turns into pain. No toil can increase it. Rak oz HaKadosh Baruch Hu mishamer es melonecha min mezikim v'ashodedim. If you have gain, if you gainfully gain it, in other words, it's done properly, honestly, and bo alecha ki yosher v'tzadek, then you will be protected. Anyway, that's the Dvar Torah for today. Now we have to get to their yortzites. And today's yahrzeit of Zev Wolf Mizitmar, who was Halevi, was the Magid from Zitmar, Hayam Itamilav Shal Magid Mimezrich Mekurvav. He was born, by the way, he was Niftar, Hey Sivan Shazat Herav Shvuas, also which is Eretz Shabbos Parshas Naso coming up afterwards. Be'elef Shvamot Tishim Sheva Niftar. Hayam Itamdil Shemagin Mimezrich Mekurvav Shal Reb Yaakov Yosef HaKohen Misum Pulna. Lacha Mikein Hayam Chasidav Shal Reb Nachum Micharnobel Reb Levi Yitzchak Miberdichev. Reb Nachum Nesar Al Inyan Pinyin Shvuim Hesig Reb Zev Rishayon Me'et HaReshut L'Shamesh Et Rabo B'Beit Yisurim Meshach Kol Yemei Masor Tchilat Esek or Asak Reb Tzvi Mischa Shal Yayin, just like Rashi. Lacha Mikein Hayam Magid Efitz Et HaToras HaChasidus Reb Zev Biker Na'agudum Shel Kama Admorim She'Bedora L'Dvarav HaTzadikim Rishonim Ra'avu Le'lechem V'tzamu L'mayim V'hochu Le'oram B'liv L'vush V'chol Zot Lo Na'aga B'Nesiyot Rabbonos L'Tvoa B'Peh V'Kasher No'agim B'Dora Zeh Reb Zev Hetif L'Chayei Pashtus V'Gina Et B'Difus HaMutoros Sifro Or HaMeir Al HaTorah V'Amgilas V'Mo'odim Nechshav Le'echa Misifrei Yisod Shel Chasidus HaSefer Nichtav Al Yidei Tamid Reb Elazar Alevi Mizitmar B'Sefer Nitpasu Haskamoteim Shel Reb Levi Yitzchak Mibardichev Reb Asher Tzvi Karev Reb Yehuda Levi Shidlov Reb Yosem Chavdin Yosem Reb Mordechai Ben Pinchas Mekoros Reb Zev Wolf Ma'od Mistayeg Mi Darshonim Zmanenu Shemotziim Gematrius Lo Kol Echad Rishoi Lo Mar Gematrius V'Notrikim Atah B'Dor Hazeh Rabim Heim Amei Ha'aretz Partzim Matzim Et Nafsham Lomar Torah V'Mozim Gematrius V'Notrikim Chachomim Heim Be'eneihem B'Chachma Malahem Kosim Ramesh Mimi Sha'anoshim Shenota Elokim Kan Zeh Roshi Tables Gematrius V'Notrikim Be'edin Mekodem Hainu Mi she'enu ma'ane etasmo ki'im nikdoma shel olam ish kol shukos v'kavanasa lasos nachas ruach liosro ish kazeh notabol kim gan lomar gematrius v'natrukim lo l'zloso. Okay, me binav me ziva garishon Rabbi Yisrael dev berch choten Rab Chaim mi krasna hu milei et mekomo kamagim mi zitmar Rab Menachem Mendel mi Bardichev Rab Tzvi Hirsch Rab Yosef Chotan Rab Tzvi Menachem Mendel Napoli Mizibra Sheni Rab David Richiel Michal and Rab Pinchas Mikhalis. Okay, Ad Kan Ayortzei Rab Zev Wolf Mizitmar. היום זה גם היורצייט של גרשון בן יהושע אשכנזי מכל המאיה, שנפטר ב-1863, התלמיד של מנחם מנדל ב-1821 עד 29 היה רבה של רוסס ביוקריין, אחר כך רב בשלמיש, בהורדניה, בקלמיה, והיה חכם, התכתב בכל העם, חיים הלברשטם מצאנז. הוא חיבר את עבודת הגרשון. היום זה גם כן יורצייט של מאיר מנחם בן הלל פינקלר, שנולד ב-1861 ונפטר ב-1912 מזידיצ'ה. הוא היה האדמו"ר מפייטריקוב, היה מרבה בסיגופים ובטבילס. היום זה גם כן יורצייט של חיים יעקב בן אברהם מרדכי ספרין, שנולד ב-1897 ונפטר ב-1979. נולד בבוריסלב באוקראין, הוא התגורר בבלז, היה מקורב ליששכר דוב רוקח, אדמו"ר מבלז, וברח לאמריקה, ואחר כך ב-1962 עלה לארץ ישראל, ירושלים, הקים בית מדרש בגאולה. האדמו"ר, הוא היה אדמו"ר דור החמישי מחסידס קומראיה. הוא חיבר בייס אבוס, פריחי פור יוסף, עין יעקב ובשלום. זהו, עד כאן היורצייטים של היום. עכשיו אנחנו מגיעים לנדחי ישראל, והיום עושים סיום. סיום פרק מ"א והתחלת מ"ב. בעולם, אם מידס מצווה לא יחליף עולם לומר לעולם זה. A person should realize that having relations with Nida is only something that you experience in this world, but in order to experience something permanently, Olam Haba, you have to have Taras Mishpacha. K'bivadai, Kishiyadur b'kviyas in Ishto, b'mokom hazeh. If you're in a place that doesn't have a mikvah, the hemshech hayomim yavo lidei mikshal, you'll unfortunately land up doing Isser of Nida, Kores, and that's an Isser of Kores, Rachman al-Sam v'yosim, Yitzchona b'Hashem shelo yizruni kamsham. So the person should have bitachon, and even if it's difficult for him, should go to a place where they have mikvahs. Okay, Ad Kan Perek Mem Aleph. I think we have, let's see, no, okay, now we have Mem Beis is Bo Yivuar Sha'al Yadur B'Makom She'en Yisrael Mitzrayim. Should avoid, remember we're talking about people who go to Chutz La'aretz, and the Chafetz Chaim wants to preserve the Yiddishkeit. So he tells you, don't go to a place where there is no Yiddishkeit. Okay, v'hinei lefi mashen espoyer v'prokim she'avru godel achil v'ish Yisrael lishmor et divrei Torah. See how important it is to keep the Torah the observances. B'zeh totally call ashro v'tzlacha. His entire well-being is dependent upon bevo. Now in this world, b'zeh u'bevo, in the world to come. Naskil adas ech tzarich adam nizar me'mechshalim amfriyam also. Person should be careful to know the pitfalls and the obstacles that cause him to go leave the way of the Torah. What is the greatest obstacle that would cause a person to distance himself from Torah? Who? To live in a place, far out place, which has no Yiddishkeit. Kimachmas, Rov Hergola Vishtakuso, who have habits and long established ways over there. Yisrapel L'Kaim Mitzvahs of Torah, cause them to weaken and to neglect the mitzvahs of the Torah. Mitzvila Machmas Ones. In the beginning, you'll say, oh, well, it's difficult. The Kal Dahainu, Choshish Sheyarigolo, for example, if he puts on tefillin and they see him, they'll make fun of him, and that's why he refrains from doing it. And then later on, when he stops doing things, he says, "Oh, it's all right." And eventually he will eat treifus. And there's a footnote right over here. Person who was FFB from birth, disdainfully, al Yisurim, Asurim, Shemifnim, Hayam, Mizazea, Liros, Lanashim, Yisraelim, She'ovrim, Af, B'dvarim, Kal, Me'ela. And when he lived in a Jewish community, and even the slightest infringement, he would be shocked. Achain, have a great Shavuos.
You too.
Okay. And Achain, Cain who, Teva Adam, Shakol Lefi Rov Aherga, everything goes according to routine. Sha'ayadei Yisapich Min Akasa Vakasa, if he lives in a community where there is such violations on a regular basis, he, instead of being shocked, he accepts it. Mashal, and this is an example in the parable, and we know the Chafetz Chaim is an expert in parables. Lamar Adavar Doma Ish Echa Sha'aya Ashka Kol Yachayav the Chanut Shabosim, a person who had his career was involved in perfumes, and he changed his profession to being a tanner. Kasher, lower Gabe'ara, Kareachwa is not used to the leathers and the foul smell. Hayalo, Hadavar, Achashayaskal Yamei, Hayav Rose, Stalik Mizeh, he wanted to stay away from the foul odors. Ach, the Rabos Yamin, but eventually, when he was in the business for a while, Kasher Hugabizan, he got used to it. Did not sense at all the foul odor. It's as if he was raised with such foul odor and he got used to it. So it is. The Isha Zeh, Kasher Yisakev Sham, Befrak Kashiyasev Rak, Beinov, the Gelulim Sham, Ma'at Kam Hunim Shach Akrayim. If he goes into one of the communities where there are Gentiles, where there's no Yiddishkeit, so eventually he follows their customs. So he turns into literally another person who never had any roots in Yiddishkeit. Chas v'sholom, total assimilation. Now let's continue the main text. V'gam mikoshel be'isur nida, and eventually not only forbidden foods, but also the taras mishpacha. Kamapam kasher bevadai ain't shal mikvah, if there's no mikvah in this place. Kedin Torah behema averos achamoros, where we already said that nida is worse than eating pig. Sheyesh aleim chiv koresh, and these are things that have a severe penalty. The shadar ben Yisraelim afshem iskaber chayet chas v'shalom yisro alav humaneas asma neabusha. Even if his Yetzer Hara were that big and he had a taiva to do things, he would refrain from doing it in the Yiddish community because he would be shamed, he would be embarrassed. And of course, we wish everybody at this point, we wish them Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom, and should be Zocher to the Kabbalah, the Torah, the Ahavah. Chaim Tovim.